And go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this latest episode of the Corporate Detox. This is a space, a safe space, where we can talk about
Definitely.
corporate America, right?
Definitely.
We can talk about the cubicle, the workstation,
The
the the,
trials
the
and tribulations.
exactly the job area, whatever your workstation look like. Okay, we can talk about it and what it has done to us and how we're recovering and thriving post corporate
That's
America.
it. Welcome to the Corporate Detox. I'm Ayana Glaze, your co-host.
And I'm your co-host Tanisha.
All right, Tanisha, we got some stuff to talk about because they've been giving us some news. These layoffs is
Yes.
popping up all around. Every company almost is being affected by them, which means some of us ain't gonna have no checks.
Exactly. I mean, every time I look up, it's more and more announcements of job layoffs. The big boys, the
Mm-hmm.
Amazons, the
Yes,
Oracles, the
yes,
Meta, right? Like,
yes.
UPS, all of them are included, right? But I think
Right.
this works really well with this episode that we're doing about the lie of
Mm.
job security, girl.
There we go. So, all right,
The
y'all. We
lie.
about to get into this episode. We're gonna come up with talk about this lie because they fed us this lie, I think, since we were children. Get you a nine to
Absolutely.
five and you're gonna be all right for forever. Mm.
You're right. Now today we're saying the quiet part out loud,
Yes, we
right?
are. Yes, we
We're
are.
saying the quiet part. We're saying the part that people don't like to talk about.
Exactly. We're
So,
saying it and we're sharing it, and it is a reality check that we're about to face. And that I know Tanisha and I have faced this for quite some time. And
yeah.
despite your best efforts,
Despite
despite
our
your
best efforts, exactly. Despite those good performance reviews, despite those promotions, right?
mm-hmm,
You walk
mm-hmm,
into that job. Mm,
there you go. And we
mm.
got a sister on here that's gonna tell it like a TI is in our reality check moment. Here we go. Hold on, I turn the volume down, y'all.
Helpful person in the room.
There we
Corporate
go.
etiquette 101 if you're a Black woman in the office, stop being the most helpful person in the room. Your time and expertise have value, start treating them like it. Don't become the person everyone leans on but nobody promotes. Be helpful strategically, not reflexively. Corporate etiquette 101 if you're a Black woman in the office, stop being the most helpful person in the room. Your time and expertise have value, start treating them like it. Don't become the person everyone leans on but nobody promotes. Be helpful strategically, not reflexively.
Mm. Like she
Ooh,
done said
girl.
a whole word, T.
Ooh, girl. So is that our corporate reality check?
That's our reality check, honey. That's our reality check, girl.
So let's go over what she said, right? Stop being the
Mm-hmm.
most helpful girl in the most helpful woman in the room, in the corporate
Mm-hmm.
room, in the boardroom,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in the
Yes.
cubicle,
In the
in the
cubicle.
C-suite,
Yes,
in
yes.
at the job floor, whatever your
On the
work
stove.
environment is.
Exactly. Remember what I told y'all last week about how I was the one that when those people were taking them long lunches, when they had to go get
Mhm,
their cat out the tree or their kid had soccer, I'm the
mhm.
one helping out by staying later or picking up their slack. Don't do it.
I mean, it's a hard lesson because I think that, especially if you're a certain generation,
Mm-hmm.
we're Gen Xers, right? We're blessed to be highly favored.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
Gen
No greater
Xers,
generation that shall there be.
exactly. But we were taught some things now.
Uh-huh.
Go back to what we saw our parents do and what we were taught. We were
Mm-hmm.
taught the more you become that model employee,
Yep.
the more you help your employer
Mm-hmm.
will mean you will get some kind of it'll be reciprocal, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what was the reality check though?
The reality check was the first reality check was seeing them, our parents, not be rewarded for their efforts.
There you go.
Wanting our parents to be there for us, but they were too busy because they had to work, right?
Exactly.
We were the latchkey kids.
Mm-hmm.
We were the feral generation because our
Mm-hmm.
parents were out running around working. They weren't neglecting us. They were just doing what they had to do so they could provide for us, right?
Right.
But what that caused in us is for us to be the generation to demand work-life balance.
It did. And I also think too, along with that work-life balance or whatever, right? And seeing our parents work so hard, right?
Mhm.
I think the lie was also job security.
That was a huge lie.
That was,
Because
I think that was one of the biggest ones.
when them factories got ready to lay off,
Mm-hmm.
the layoffs with the layoffs, them pink slips, oh, they laid us off, but they they furloughed us. They didn't tell them how long they were gonna furlough them.
I mean, and it's crazy when you think of it. I could think back to like our parents and even my grandparents' generation. Working somewhere, I think my grandfather worked for Chrysler for 39 years. He was very proud of that. Okay.
Mhm.
I think a lot of our parents and grandparents generation, they were taught that if you work hard, you'll get the gold watch.
Mhm.
You'll be
Mhm.
able to retire. You'll have this one job and you will be able to get your 20, 25, 30, 35, or whatever years to retire. Can you
Mhm.
imagine today working one job for like, let's say 21 to retirement age?
I have a friend. I can't imagine it for me, but my
Hmm.
best friend, she's working for an insurance company,
Okay.
and she started when they still had a pension.
Wow.
So she's one of the few people that I know is working like that
Mm,
and it's been there for that long. Me
mm.
myself, I have corporate commitment issues. That's a whole nother thing. But no, I can't see that because companies are so quick to lay people off. They
Exactly.
lay people off like and with us having been both, we've been both contractors and we've been employees, right?
Right. Right.
And do we know there is no such thing as job security, which I think is why it made it we were better suited for contract work because we
Yeah.
knew that job security was a big lie.
Job security is a whole lot, a lie from the pit of hell. And I think that what we're taught though is that if we dedicate our best, give our best and brightest, that
Mm-hmm.
we will get job security, that these jobs will not lay us off, that we'll get
Mm-hmm.
those promotions and bonuses and profit
Mm-hmm.
sharing or whatever else. And baby, all that it's all a lie.
Mm-hmm. It's a big lie. And I think we would have been better suited to, instead of being taught job security, to
Hmm.
have been taught career security. How
What
to
is the difference? What do you
Okay,
think is the
job security means I'm gonna go into this place. Like, okay, let's take the government.
difference?
Oh, she got that good government job. She gonna never
Mm-hmm.
lose her job because she got that good government job.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you got one of them good government jobs, you got quote unquote job security.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna not gonna let you off. That's the thought and expectation, right? So job security means you working at a job for a company and you will be able to sit there and rest for 20, 30 years and retire. That's job security. Career security is that you are in a career where you can feel secure that you will always be able to find work.
Right.
For example, the nursing field,
Mm-hmm.
the medical field, general healthcare field.
Right.
Even if you were to get laid off, meaning your job, the hospital, the doctor's office may not be a secure job for you, you at the very least have career security, meaning, okay, well, if I lose a job, I can go get me a job somewhere else.
But think
Now,
right.
career
Think about it
security,
now though.
right, but career security can have its limitations. When you have technology, as in the case with Tanisha and I, we had career security because what we did was we were able to shore up our careers because the marketing departments were the first they laid people off. Then
Right.
in tech, we got security. We created a career safety pad in tech. But
Right.
then tech started sending jobs overseas. But again, because you have to have flexibility in your career to maintain a level of career security. And
Right.
even now with the advent of AI,
Ain't nothing secure.
ain't nothing secure except for nursing may still be secure because they haven't figured out how to use robotics in nursing. They can use it in surgery, but they haven't figured out how to use robotics in nursing to replace people. So in the case of me, I started creating my own content and I do alterations because AI can't touch alterations.
Right. Right.
See what I'm saying? So you have to create your own career security. And also, if you create your own career security and also be flexible in your career and also know how to take your skills that you have and flip them into a new career or merge them with the career you have, then what you're able to do then is create a level of career security where you are in control. Career security puts you in control.
And let's talk about that, like putting us in control and the corporate script, Ayana, like what we're taught. Because I think that this is like the base of that. The things that we were taught. Get a stable job.
Yep.
Work hard, perform, get rewarded, right? Be consistent. Dedicate yourself to that those people job.
Loyalty.
Loyalty. It was all a lie.
All of it.
I mean, and it hasn't, if we're honest, it hasn't been the truth for a very, very long time. Right? Because we're seeing there is no such thing as job security. We're seeing that it does not matter how good you work, how good of an employee you are, when your department gets wiped out, that's it.
That's all.
I mean, we've been through this before, right?
We've been through it a number of times.
I've been in marketing departments that were wiped out in one day. You get the call to HR, it's over with.
It's over and done.
And you get that notice on your calendar, you're like, hold on.
Exactly.
We don't have a one-on-one today. Why is HR? Who else are these people here?
Why are they calling us?
Right.
What's up? Why are they bugging us?
Exactly. But look at this list of job cuts, though, y'all. So many companies that we know very well.
Amazon. They're trimming their staff. Pinterest. Trimming their staff. 15% of his workforce just going away. Angie's List.
So
Verizon,
many.
Nike. All them good jobs. Good corporate jobs. And it's not funny.
It's not. We don't want to make light of a situation of anyone having lost their jobs. We've been in your shoes. We know how it feels. Okay. We're both people who have been laid off in technology. AI has replaced some of what we do, even from a consulting perspective, right? So this is not, of course, to make light of layoffs. We're trying to bring a little bit of levity, to the situation. But I think last month it was announced, or maybe it was February, numbers came out, like almost 100,000 jobs lost. That's
and it's
a lot of people. And growing. Every time you look up, it's more companies. So I think job security looks very different, right?
Exactly. Shout out to Business Insider. Not to cut you off, Tanisha, but shout out to Business Insider for this great article that's giving us all the details and all the tea on what these layoffs actually look like,
Right. Absolutely. They did a definitely a good job in kind of going through all those layoffs. But I think I'd rather people listen to our podcast and find out now before they get laid off that there is no such thing as job security. No matter how well you are performing, you could still be a victim. There's nothing that you yourself can do to work your way out of a layoff. There's nothing you can do. You can do everything right at that job and still lose your job.
Yes. When they get ready to cut you, they're going to cut you. Like that song say, you got too many people, you need to cut them.
Exactly.
But seriously though, Amazon, said in January it was going to cut another 16,000 jobs, corporate jobs globally. That's across the globe. And then they just laid off 14,000 people in October. That's crazy.
And that's a lot of people. And like you said, it's not just in the US, it's globally around the world. So the lie is that we can prove ourselves, we can do a really good job and won't get laid off. None of that is the truth. None of it. None of it is the truth. So now that we know that with all these, and look at these companies, quote unquote, blue chip companies, Citibank, right?
Citibank,
Amazon,
Angie's List, Amazon, Expedia.
All of these companies, right? From consumer companies to
social media, Meta.
Child, a mess. Products that we use every day. I know I'm on Facebook every day. I don't know about you.
I'm on Facebook every day. Shoot, I'm on Facebook now.
Exactly. You exactly.
Nike. So, like, go ahead, girl. I'm shook.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage and it's a lot to deal with. But I think that, like, for us, it's looking at like the hidden cost of what some of these beliefs and things that we were taught, right? Like, there's a hidden cost to it. And sometimes we pay with our souls. Yes. Meaning, you get so worked up about that job. You get so worked up with keeping that job. You get anxiety. You can get depression. You can believe that you have to overextend yourself. You got to take time away from your family. You got to do all these things to keep that job. Right? You can just tolerate things that just don't feel right.
Exactly.
To keep the job.
It's like it's no better time now, really and truly, because layoffs are coming. You may not get hit. You may be blessed to not get hit with a layoff at all. But then there's somebody that you know who's been blessed, who's been not so blessed to be hit with the layoff in a major way. And depending on what job they had and what job you have, will determine whether or not you're able to easily find another role somewhere else.
Exactly.
These layoffs are not just shifting what we do and how we do it, but it's also shifting where we do it, because there are people who may have to move. And let's talk about the fallout, Tanisha. These people losing their jobs, mortgages, not being able to pay their mortgages, not being able to feed their family, not being able to keep their cars, not being able to keep clothes on their children's backs, not being able to pay daycare, like not being able to afford the things that they would need so they can continue to look for another job.
I mean, bankruptcy, even if you have a savings, they're saying the average time that it takes people to find new work is on average 8 months. And that's if you're in the younger, like millennial age. That's not counting some of us older Gen Xers. It takes us probably twice as long. I hate to say it.
40-year-old millennials are catching it now too. It's getting harder for them to find something. And if you think about it, T, I recall us being on one job when we were in our 30s, when we hit that magic bullet number of 35. It was like, we want younger, but I'm like, gosh, they just getting out of school. What you want? Somebody, you see what I'm saying? So when they start laying off, they don't care.
We were young back then.
Yes.
Right. We were
young. Aged.
Right. They put us out to pasture early because it was like, hold on now.
They wanted fresh young talent. And with AI and with people knowing how to use AI, especially younger people, they're going to want to hire them. And some of them not even having education. That's a whole nother lie we could talk about too. We might need to do another episode on that. But yeah, 30,000 jobs at UPS going away. That's 30,000 people.
Okay, so let me ask you a question now, for real. Like, do you think, of course we talk a lot about AI. You and I use AI every day.
Yes,
every single day we use AI. We had to retrain, reskill, and learn, for us. And we've, for several years now, you and I have become AI experts.
Yep.
Would you say, a lot of these job cuts they keep saying Like Oracle, for example. Oracle fired up to 20 to 30,000 people. If you believe the numbers, right?
Mhm.
Anywhere from
Mhm.
20 to 30,000 people worldwide. And they're saying a lot of these cuts are because of AI. What do you think about that? Do you think that AI is just the excuse? As someone in the industry, do you think that AI is the catch-all? They just lying? What do you think?
It's just the AI is just what they tell us because they need to tell us something. They gotta justify it some kind of way.
You mean
I
another
think
corporate lie? Another lie.
another lie. I think I think there's truth to it, and I also think it's a lie to it. I think there's some
Okay.
companies that just gonna have to cut some people, and they
Mhm.
use AI as their justification
Mhm.
because I believe the government has subsidies for companies and organizations, which they usually do, that embark upon new technology, AI
Ooh,
being the hottest thing, right?
ooh, ooh.
So I do
Mhm.
think that some of those companies that are saying, "Oh, AI," I don't think they even had a plan to even implement AI
Mm.
into their workforce. It's just now it's a thing and it's what they can use to get rid of some people. Yeah, most states are right to work states. Georgia is one. But if you fire someone and you can't give a legitimate reason as to why you fired them, and you've already been harassing them about their pregnancy or about their disability, and if they're
Mhm.
able to prove it, then they come at you for some money, right? If you are a corporate man A12, right? But if
Right.
you're corporate man A12, and now you can say, "Oh, we can use AI as the excuse,"
To
then
get rid of you.
to get rid of a person, then do that. So I do think it is there's some truth to it because there are some
Mhm.
roles, we know this, there's some marketing roles, there's some designer roles that are gonna go by the wayside to AI. We've experienced it
Right.
ourselves. We've been fighting it for 2 years. But AI not gonna work itself.
Mhm.
So if you're in a role like what Tanisha and I were in, marketing, content strategy, content writing and creation, if you win type of content design or designer role or whatever, if you can write, you can survive AI. And that epiphany just hit me the other day because with AI and a lot of these, AI relies on a lot of prompts,
Right.
not necessarily developer prompts.
Right.
AI relies on being able to write out what you want something to look like or what you want something to do and be detailed and be descriptive. The average everyday person cannot write like that. The average everyday person does not even like to write. But now that people don't like to write as much, they're having to relearn the writing skill to be able to live and to operate in an AI driven society. And that's what we're in right now, an AI driven society. So that was just my little sidebar tip to people that were in what we were in or in something similar to us. Learn how to be an AI prompter, and you may find yourself able to secure a position faster or even secure something for yourself where you don't have to rely on corporate anymore.
Or even if you're not, we spent years in user experience UX, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But let's say you're in something else. Let's say you're, I don't know, healthcare, maybe legal, whatever. We know
Mm-hmm.
those fields are impacted by AI. Legal, for example, is impacted by AI because they don't need as many junior lawyers, right?
Right.
They can have AI do some of that work. We know
Mm-hmm.
healthcare is impacted while nurses may not yet be in the mix. They don't need as many pharmacy techs because AI can dispense that medication a lot more quicker,
Efficiently and quickly.
efficiently, and with no mistakes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what can you do? Like most app, and this is a rhetorical question, not saying to you specifically, but
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you can able to get over the AI hump by mastering AI in whatever your field is. Then you become the
Mm-hmm.
go-to person. Because
Right.
AI isn't going to replace your job, but the person who knows AI is probably going to be the one who replaces you.
Right.
to replace you. That's
and if you can do it, the age won't matter. Age won't be nothing but a number.
Exactly. And actually, we're in a really good position because unlike let's say a 22-year-old just out of college, we have decades of corporate experience, right? It may look different though. You may be a consultant, because what are they saying? They're saying all these studies I'm seeing are saying that, look, the traditional 9 to 5 in like 5 years is going to be wiped out. We're all going to be consultants, like maybe fractional consultants, maybe contractors like what we used to be, but we're all going to be consultants working on project to project basis. So the reality is different.
Definitely.
You're not safe in corporate America. Right? No matter how well you perform, that does not protect you. Okay.
Oracle is a tech company.
Right.
Who you think you would be protected from? In some way.
As you can see, doesn't Oracle own the US division of TikTok? Oracle is one of those blue chip companies. I've known people who have worked at Oracle. I've interviewed at Oracle myself years ago. They didn't give me that job, but anyway. But Oracle was one of those companies that you were thought to have job security. You can go from division to division. I know people who were treated very well in terms of very good salaries, very good money. And it was always thought, and it was around the world, it was always thought that you could be, you would have some level of job security working at Oracle. But as we can see, even if you work at a tech company, baby, that don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing. Because, we know that tech companies can be kind of iffy, really and truly, in terms of job security, because they'll take a job and send it overseas like it ain't nothing.
Exactly.
But now they don't even have to do that. If they can have AI do your customer service, you got chat bots. You got what's the other thing they have now? The automated calls and stuff that come to you, and it's on a different level because they can actually take what you're saying and the answers that you give and respond back to you like they're a real person. Even looking for a job, recruiting work is gone the way of AI, because I've had AI say, "Hey, we got this job." Like I've had AI call me about jobs. I'm like, I want to talk to a person. I don't talk to you.
Right. But they give you the option now. They give you the option to talk to a recruiter or talk to AI.
Yeah. But they try to keep you with the AI as long as they can. But the point is, their roles, HR, that used to supposed to be for the people, was really for the company. All them HR people, y'all look out, because AI coming for you, honey. AI coming for you.
AI is coming for our necks. And I think the question becomes, how do you build stability, right? That's not tied to one place. Because if you work at Oracle and you were one of those up to 30,000 people who received that email at 6 a.m., they didn't even have the corporate decency to tell these people to their face. They got an email.
There's no such thing as corporate decency.
There is. You're right. There really is. That's a corporate lie too. You get fired over a Zoom call, email, text message.
Yep.
And I'm sure those people who got that email, a lot of them were like, especially large companies like Oracle. People have worked there for decades and years, right? And you feel kind of discarded. So how do you build, with all these corporate lies in place, how do you build stability that's not tied to one organization, not tied to Oracle, not tied to AT&T, not tied to, Meta? How do you do it?
I'm going to tell you how. We talked about it earlier. You don't look for job security. You look for career security. If you are a person and you're in school and you're going to school for art, don't get no degree in art. There's no job security in that. Because let's face it, you can express yourself and be an artist without having to have an art degree.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If you're trying to have a job that's going to give you some security, and you got to stack the cards for yourself to be able to find a job in your chosen career. And you have to build the career security versus the job security, because a job can go by the wayside in a moment. How do you build career security? 1, stack your skills. 2, stay abreast of the latest and greatest technology that is coming out. Okay. 3, learn how to work your network. Your network is still going to be very important and key in all of this. 4, be flexible, because just like you have this career, there are likely other spin-offs that are attached to what you do. And you can take that career and say, oh, well, I got this small little niche area in here that might be safe. Work that. Okay. 5, you can also say, take your resume and sit down with AI, use AI to your advantage and say, hey, what are some other jobs I can get with this skill set I have that's not not necessarily in my current career.
So do you think it's looking at things? It sounds like all those, and those are wonderful tips that you gave. It sounds like it's looking at things in a different way. Like we are truly, truly corporate detoxing. We're detoxing from the lie. And at the same time, we're also like reclaiming our own individual truths, right?
Yes.
We're shifting how we think about job security. We're not saying, hey, if I work harder, I'll be rewarded. We're saying what you said, invest in yourself.
Definitely.
That investment is always going to pay off, whether you are working for another company or for yourself. That's always going to pay off.
Always going to pay off. Bet on you.
I wish somebody had told me that like 30 years ago. I'm not even gonna lie.
Me too.
Because we were not taught that.
We were not. And as Black women in particular, we were taught, go to school, get that job, and climb that ladder. But the problem is, not all of us want to climb the career ladder. I didn't want to climb the career ladder. I did not want to be in no C-suite. If I was in a C-suite, I wanted to be my own C-suite. And I want to be in somebody else's C-suite. I just didn't.
And the beauty of it is you built your C-suite.
I did, then a girl.
Hey. Okay. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, and you did too, Tanisha. Because looking at Tanisha now as the examples of detoxing, because we are the examples.
Yep.
Both of us worked in content strategy and content creation, content development, management, and all of that. We're doing it now, but a great example, the corporate detox. Right. We literally are taking what we did corporate-wise and turning it into our own thing and creating our own content, creating our own lane, creating our own table. With our other individual projects that we have, Tanisha has Band, aka Black Ass News. Yes. Where she shares her travels as well as like talks about, what's going on in the world today, pulling from her journalism skill set, pulling from her corporate skill set, pulling from her skills of just being funny as hell. I have Ayana Enters the Chat, where I'm pulling from, I didn't know I was funny, but I like to watch TV and I like to watch my Country Wayne skits, and I'm pushing out that content, doing reactions. Again, I'm still creating content. Same thing with my alterations business. I'm taking another skill that I have and making a living. And that's what we have to do.
So you mean that golden paycheck, that golden key, work somewhere 30 years,
You might want to toss that key on out, because that don't exist anymore. Corporations are, even in education. I remember when education was thought as the thing where nobody got laid off. And
girl,
I want to say it was around 2012, 2013. There were a lot of layoffs. And the layoffs were in education. I was like, what
is going on?
They were laying off people. Like,
think about the government. I used to work at the government. I was there for a short amount of time, but I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always taught, especially depending upon where you lived. I mean, we're in Atlanta, but if you were in the DC, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you were taught to, get this good job, this good government job. You'll never lose it. I mean, whole communities were built, especially
Get your clearance.
with us, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. With us, that were built with these government jobs. And I'm not putting anything down, okay? How you get it is how you get it. I get, you want the government pension. Hey, I understand. But did you ever really think that we would see a times where government employees would be getting laid off?
No. Furloughed maybe, but like this on, you ain't got no job. No.
Never. And the crazy part is we got almost 1 million Black men and Black women out of work. A lot of those people who are out of work as of last year are because of government layoffs.
Yep.
I feel like they came directly for our necks. They came for our necks.
They came for us strong.
The DEI hires came for us. Right? The true DEI hires. Our necks.
Came for us.
And the problem is our communities are suffering because of it, because so many Black women are out of work. So many Black men are out of work. I feel like it's on purpose.
It's on purpose, but here's the thing, though. You used a very strong word. A very strong word just now. Community.
Yes.
The one thing about us as a culture and as a community of people, God has blessed us with the ability to take nothing and turn it into something.
Right.
We got a nickel, give it somebody else. Now we both got dimes.
Right.
The only issue is we have to stop the crabs in the barrel mentality, which is what they rely on. But when it comes down to it, we down to the wire. We can make a way out of no way. Because God has given us, graced us with that gift as a group of people.
Absolutely.
Whether it be growing our own food, whether it be, my mom used to bake these cakes and I got her recipes. I'm finna go bake me some cakes.
Right.
Whether it be, I'm good at cooking breakfast. Let me go cook. I'm gonna cook breakfast for people every day. People be hungry. They're gonna ride by here and I'll be out there with some sausage biscuits.
Right.
Like whatever you know how to do not forsake your small beginnings. Yeah, many of us were at 6-figure salaries, right? Lord knows I miss mine. I miss it. Nisha and I have breathed that salary. Woo, we have breathed it. But when you start to make something in your own lane, it becomes way more valuable than that 6-figure salary. And you'll get back to it. And you'll also learn that you can live with a little less.
You can live with less, and anything you build is yours. Can't nobody lay you off you.
Can't nobody, and you ain't gonna fire yourself.
You're not gonna fire yourself. You're not gonna what do you call it when you get a what's the word now? I can't think of it now. But
well, the only pink slip I'm giving myself is
demote
on this sewing machine.
Exactly. You're not gonna demote yourself.
You're not gonna demote yourself.
You're not gonna demote yourself. Like you said, you're not gonna give yourself a pink slip. It's not happening, right? Unless you choose to change. Unless you choose it. And you're the perfect example of that. I mean, you've done different things. You started out with your alterations business all those many years ago at that company which shall not be named.
You remember that?
Girl. You had your alterations on wheels with the sign on the car. Then you were doing jewelry, right? And you were doing multiple things. Then with the pandemic, you were doing masks. You got back into your alterations bag, right?
Look, and my mama taught me. She told me if you have a sewing machine, you can make some money.
That's all you need to hear. The money.
If you have a sewing machine, you can survive.
Right.
Because somebody gonna need something. You can survive. Sure. Even if it means surviving making your own garments so you can move and still look like you about something, or whether somebody else needs something. you can survive. And if you think about it, Tanisha, somewhere in our history, some older person has told us, if you do this, you can make it. If you got a stove, you can survive. If you got an iron, you can survive. If you got a garden, you can survive.
You're right, because look at what our ancestors did. Look at what they did. I don't know about you, but the grandparents, great grandparents, a lot of them raised families, washing clothes for others, ironing clothes, sewing clothes, right?
I remember when being a maid was looked down upon, but you got so many married maids and other maid services out here, and them people making bank.
Yeah, you have companies. I have a good friend of mine. She runs a great business doing she does the industrial cleanups, right? On the construction side, has federal contracts. You never know what your skill set is going to take you. You really never know.
Never know. So explore that. You got a lawnmower, you can make you some money. You got a hammer, you can make you some money. If you're good at swinging that hammer and building things, build something and sell it.
There's so many different ways. And I think that's the beauty about us, in terms of with corporate detox and reclaiming our truth and talking about it, because the truth might not look like what you thought it would look like.
Right.
You know.
And also they taught us that that you had to go to college. And we got that mindset, college, blah, 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 blah. College, blah, 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 blah. College, you're going to get a job. Get that master's, you're going to get this. Get that doctor, you're going to get. And a lot of times, all we got is more debt.
Unfortunately, this is true. Unfortunately, this is true. So, that's the crazy part about it. But I think that, the main thing I want people, like, what are the main things that you want people to take away from this episode? Like, the episode, the corporate detox episode of the lie of job security. What are some like final thoughts that you, Ayana, would say you want people to watch this episode and come away with?
I want people to know that one of the biggest lies of job security is that if you don't have job security, you won't survive. You will survive. It may take some time, but you will survive. But as I told my friend years ago, what God said to me one time when I was on a long stretch of being laid off, what's in your hands? What's in your hands that you've been gifted to do? What other skills do you have that you can tap into that are needed for a time like this? That's what I would say. That's what I want people to leave with.
I can't think of any better way to end this episode of Corporate Detox. I mean, you just dropped a word right there.
Hey.
Okay. Put it on a t-shirt. Okay.
Put it on a t-shirt.
You listen, I won't be surprised if you do. Okay.
Look, girl, don't play with me.
I know, right? The t-shirt will be out today. And the next episode, the corporate detox podcast, it will be available for purchase. I don't know why y'all playing.
All right. So,
but listen, it's been great talking to everyone. Enjoy your week until next week's episode. Remember, the corporate detox, job security is a lie. We here to reclaim our truth.
Reclaim our truth in our time.
Exactly. We reclaim your corporate time. Free yourself from that cubicle. Free yourself from, the 9, I won't say 9 to 5. I'm going to say the 9 to 5 mindset, because that's not going to serve us, right? Not what ends up happening. You work that job so much, and when it comes time for your own thing, you exhausted. We've been there, done that.
You need to pursue your own thing, so do it, honey. Do it.
Exactly. Hey, yeah, okay.
All right.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.